All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to say it is, let's see here, 2 p.m. maybe on the Hawaii side. I don't know why the math is so hard for me these days. But all right, so 5 p.m. West Coast, 8 p.m. East Coast, 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. This much I am certain of. I'm also equally certain that I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and if you're here in the house, you're part of the Statterbox crew, just like Gina coming in saying hi there. So we've got at least one Statterboxer in the house. Chatterer, chatterer, chatterer. Today on the docket, we have got a couple videos, and then discussion, oddly enough, about maybe Christmas gifts. But the Christmas gifts are definitely themed for, well, you'll see. But before that, I'm going to say, hey, Pacola T, good to see you. Coming in from Kona. I'm assuming Hawaii Island Kona side because, technically speaking, Kona could be, I suppose, any island south side. But I'm going to say you're on Hawaii Island, aka Big Island. Living up the life. In fact, I know she's on the Big Island because she sent me some pictures, and guess what I didn't do? I didn't download them. I knew there was something I meant to do. Well, that's okay, because you know what? I have a method to my madness. We might be able to take care of that. But before we have methods to madnesses, and before we do all the things and stuffuses, let's get the party started, shall we? Boop. Right, we are back. So, in case you guys don't know it, because apparently I didn't really know it, I should have known it. It's not like it was a secret, but today is August 13th, which means next week is August 19th. Now, August 19th for most people is nothing but nothing. But for up here in the Pacific Northwest, August 19th is when we are hosting Augie T, James Monet, and Andy Bumatai at the Renton Carco Theater, which means Saturday, August 19th, there will be no Statterbox at the cinema. So last week's Statterbox at the cinema, i.e. yesterday, where we watched a very cute movie called 80 for Brady, really was not expecting the cuteness of this movie. If you have not seen this movie, it's safe to watch with pretty much everybody in the family. Now, the little kids will probably wander away and just be like, this is super boring. But seriously, like from, I don't know, age 8 and up, like if they're into football or something, seriously, this is, you can watch this with your grandma, which you would think. Anyway, super cute movie, but we will not be having Statterbox at the cinema for 2 weeks in a row because, you see, Renton, August 19th, is when I will be actually on stage introducing all of these amazing comedians that are coming our way from the Oahu Island. So if you want to hang out with me, if you want to hang out with James, if you want to hang out with Andy, and if you want to hang out with Augie, especially if you want to hang out with Augie, come on up to Renton, to the Carco Theater. We've still got some tickets available, and I have to say, I was tasked with reminding a Facebook group that the tickets were still on sale. Now, this Facebook group is for Hawaiians who have relocated into Washington. It's a beautiful group. It's a beautiful, beautiful group. But right now, they are in the midst of a bit of a crisis situation, as is everybody who's got connections with the islands. So I felt a little crass coming in as a salesperson in the middle of all these pleas for donations, etc. But alas, it does seem like people were in the mood for a slight hope, a slight breath of fresh air, as it were, because even though I felt like a bull in a china shop, doing something, posting something that was just not the time. Like, read the room. This is not the time, right? Well, actually, it was received with a lot of loves and thumbs up and excitement. So even in the midst of crisis, people are hoping for a good time, and thank goodness for that, because I kind of felt like a jerk for a second. But alas, tickets for that Renton show still on sale, and we're hoping to see you. There will be meet and greets. Then next week, I will also be having to cancel both Statterbox at the Cinema and Chatter with Statter for the weekend, the Saturday and Sunday. We will be having Chatter with Statter on Wednesdays as usual. None of these performances will cut into the Wednesday hangout that we've got. And so yes, Bacola Tea, August 19th is a good time for migrated Hawaiians to come together for healing and support at this rough time. I might steal that copy from you and post that as an addendum to my post. I'm pretty much, yeah, we're gonna go back and steal that line, Bacola Tea. Are you a PR writer? What PR firm do you work for? I feel as though I need to hire you right now. I wish that I could have the PR spin that you just did there right off the top of my head. So, but yeah, so Thursday night, no, not Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So Wednesday we'll have Chatter with Statter. Thursday I'm going to be flying down to San Francisco. Thursday we're going to be doing a show in San Francisco, and then Saturday we're going to be doing a show in Sacramento. I'll be flying home on Sunday, but I won't have a show ready. I don't even know if I'm 99% sure my flight won't even get me here in time for Chatter with Statter for next Sunday, which is the 27th, maybe? 26th, something like that. So, the next couple weekends are going to be a little cocky-wumpus. But, like I said, Wednesday for the Chatter with Statter will all be good and fine and dandy. We can hang out. I know, exactly, Bacola T. Look who's jet-setting now. I feel like a rock star, only it's a comedian star. Only I'm not a comedian, I'm just an MC. But I don't care. It is my summertime vacation. It's a learning vacation. And I've had several friends who are just like, oh, I hope you have such a good time. Of course, I hope I have a good time too. But you know what? Actually, no. The good time is secondary. I am going to be trying to soak up the knowledge of Andy Bumatai, the knowledge of Augie T, the knowledge of James Monet. All of these comedians are people who have so much experience with working the crowd, this, that, and the other thing, putting on a show. I've put on many shows before, but they are shows like roller derby. They are shows like rock shows. Putting on a comedian, a comedy show, completely different animal, a completely different environment, completely different set of circumstances. So I am super excited just to soak in all of the experience and the knowledge that I can. Having a good time will be secondary. That being said, on Thursday, in San Francisco, in Chinatown, I'm going to be a little starstruck just by the neighborhood. Nothing to do with the people I'll be with. Nothing to do with Andy and his star power. Nothing to do with James and his star power. I'm going to be starstruck by the atmosphere and the old world awesomeness that San Francisco's Chinatown has to offer. That's right. That's right. I'm starstruck by buildings. Whatever. I'm a weirdo. Hey, Thomas the Turtle. Good to see you. And thank you so much for all of your supports. Both you and Bacola T just being all cheerleaders here. And yeah, I will be able to offer my perspective, which might be valuable because sometimes coming at things from different angles is useful. But I can tell you right now, I have already imparted some wisdom to the efforts, well, with my tax background, oddly enough. And I'm also learning new stuff because of my tax background. And so I definitely feel like I can bring in a perspective that has been helpful. On the other hand, my knowledge of various things is a little bit limited, and this is a whole new realm. So I am so excited that we've got, that I've got this cheerleading squad right here in the chat who's just like, whoop, whoop. But alas, this is not, even though this is like the most self-centered chatter with statter show ever, it seems, this is not what I meant to talk about today. What I meant to talk about today is good things and some not so good things. But, and this is sort of a midpoint of good things and not so good things. Okay, so we know the root of the not so good thing that we're going to be talking about, right? Right. The Lahaina fire, the Maui fires in general. Right now, this is, hey Pussycat, good to see you. Right now in the Northern Hemisphere, this is pretty much getting into supreme peak fire season. Doesn't matter if you're in Hawaii, or on the continental United States. So I've got a couple things, a couple little soapboxes to get on, and then I've got a discussion with you guys that I'm hoping we can learn from. First soapbox, let everybody know right now is not the time to go to Maui. I cannot believe online the blowback that I am getting when I see content creators, random people posting, etc., etc. Simple, to me, is common knowledge, common sense. Not only common knowledge, common sense, it's actually boosting the voice of the Hawaii Board of Tourism, which is, don't come here right now. Just don't come to the islands right now. Right now is not the time. We appreciate that you want to support us, but we're trying to deal with the locals. We don't need an influx of tourists. Don't come here right now. My gosh. I would not think that that was a controversial statement, but apparently online, everything is a controversial statement and up for argument. So if you have a friend, if you have a family member, if you have a relative, if you have an acquaintance who is of the mindset that we need to go to Hawaii to help their economy right now, let me just point out a simple hard truth. 20% of Maui's economy is based in tourism. 80% is not. They can lose that 20% for the next 3 or 4 months while they rebuild. They don't need your tourism dollar right now, okay? They don't. So, pardon me for getting angry at all y'all, because I know that all y'all aren't the ones who are clueless. But what I want you to do is I want you to take this anger that I just threw in your face, and I want you to forward it to anybody who needs it, who needs to have that reality check. First off, there we go. Now, second off, equally confusing to me at this point. And Pecola T, exactly. Send your support with money, not stuff. Unless you have a local person who is specifically like, I am in charge of, cleaning up this devastated building, and I need 14 pairs of non-rippable garden gloves to help with the cleanup, and you've got their address to send those 14 pairs of garden gloves to. Send money, not stuff. Pussycat, donate to the Red Cross. Absolutely a possibility. Some people don't particularly like that organization, and there are other organizations. Maui Strong is another organization that works just great. And then, of course, the Maui Humane Society has been, we knew, or Andy and the Hamajang gang knew that the Maui Humane Society would need money before the Humane Society was pleading for money. But if nothing else, Maui Humane Society also can use your funds. Now, here's the deal. I would like to think that Hawaii is such the lure that people have to go, and they're under this they're under this spell that they think that they need to go to this disaster zone right now. And those people are idiots. But as it turns out, those idiots are everywhere, and it has nothing to do with Hawaii. Right now, we are currently in the state of Washington. We've got several wildfires going, one of which is happening in the Diablo Wilderness area. And the Diablo Wilderness area is a very popular hiking, backwoods, super off-road destination for campers, hikers, RVers, etc., etc. And guess what? It's on fire. There is no access to the Diablo fire. All of the roads are closed, and people are still trying to sneak into the backcountry to go camping in the middle of a wildfire. There is currently a wildfire happening in the set of woods, and people are trying to sneak up into it to go camping. Now, I have to say, maybe they should go. And maybe they should just stay there. And maybe we shouldn't go after them. Because maybe people like that just need to learn what their self-centeredness means. You think you're prepared for everything? Okay, you go hiking in the middle of a wildfire when everyone told you not to go there. When you are prohibited from entering the area, you go sneak into the area and you go hiking and camping. On what planet does that even sound like a good idea? I'm dumbfounded, you guys. And I know that all y'all who are here on the stream, you're clearly not the ones going camping in the backwoods. Nor am I. And I love you for it. But some people are. And yeah. Now, yeah, Puzzycat, exactly. There's also, Puzzycat's all sitting here like, there's other fires. Exactly, Puzzycat. The Lahaina news is so overwhelming that it's been very difficult to find news about the other fires on Maui. And the other fires on Maui are still not contained. And so that's, also a problem. Now, granted, not quite as big of a problem as those fires that are super close to structures. However, fires can spread quick. Wind can carry embers. And so, not having it very contained is still very problematic. And let's see here. So, Gina, I didn't know it was as low as 21%. You thought it was a lot higher by how people rightly bemoan Hawaii's dependence on tourism. I'd be willing to bet, Gina, that different islands have different percentage. But Maui happens to be a fairly thriving island with other stuff going on as it happens. And so, that particular island, it's got a little elbow room. It's got a little elbow room before you need to come back. And so using the tourism is their only economy excuse is not altogether valid. And so, you can wait. No one's saying never go back to Maui. That's not what people are saying. People are just saying, now is not the time. Maybe wait. Maybe wait until the tourists that are stuck and trying to get off the island, maybe let them get off the island before you come visit. And precisely, Gina, on Oahu, I would wager is higher as well. I absolutely agree. I think that Oahu has a much higher dependency on the tourism dollar than other places. But I will admit, when I heard that, and who I heard it from, I kind of trust them with that kind of research. So I didn't do my due diligence. Sounds like, Gina, you might have double-checked my statistic, though, and which I appreciate. Always double-check my statistics. And you found that, it's maybe not altogether wrong. I was kind of surprised that Maui was as low as it was, frankly. But Gina, always check what I say. Because a lot of times I'm like a little bit right, but boy, did you just frame that wrong or whatever. So no, you double check my statistics. That is right. And so either way, Maui's got a little bit more elbow room than we thought, but there you go. Give it time. Maui's got more elbow room than we thought. They don't need the tourism dollar as bad as some people might think. And Puzzycat, it's going to take years to get back to normal. For certain. Now, Gina, you can double check this, but I also heard this statistic. There's roughly 11,000 people displaced. That is a headline, I think, that we've all heard. But apparently on Maui, there's only like 9,000 some odd hotel rooms. If that's the case, we could give a hotel room to every single displaced local, and they would still not have enough rooms for everyone who's been displaced. So, maybe a tourist doesn't need to come take a space. Maybe. Yes, shock, rooms can hold more than one person. That is very true. That is very true. But still, there's, you know, I mean, like, we got to think of the locals first. So 9,000, you know, at 2 people per room, 2 to 5 people per room. Okay, fine. Half of the rooms can be for locals. We've still only got 4,500 rooms for the tourists. So tourists, you know, and then you've got the helpers that are coming in, right? So, you know, and when I say so, because by the way, when I say tourist, I don't just mean people coming to the island, because there are plenty of people coming to the island to help with search, rescue, and rebuild efforts. Teams from California, teams from Washington are all coming in. Now, when I say teams, I mean like search and rescue specialists, Red Cross volunteers, people who are hitting the ground with boots and gloves, hitting the ground running, so to speak. So, you know, you've got all of these people, you've got the locals, and then you've got the rescuers. There's no room for tourists right now. There's no room at the inn, and the manger burned down. Not to be crass, but the manger, it burned down. And so, yes, SNR folks are on the way. FEMA is there with generators. Precisely. So, speaking of people, though, that are coming to the island, not necessarily with permission, and definitely not sending money, right? These people are rebels. That's right. But they're the good kind of rebels. They're the best kind of rebels. And I'm going to show you what rebels they are with a map. Boop. Guess what? That is a map. That is a map of Oahu. That is a map of Molokai. And that is a map of Maui. You can see on the Maui map where some of the fires raged. That far left red dot is, of course, where Lahaina is located. And guess what? Guess what populated island is one of the closest to where the fires raged? Can you take a guess? Can you take a look-see? Yeah, that's right. Lanai is one of them, but you know what else is? Molokai. And Molokai residents are just like, hey, yo, what's up? We coming with our boats. We're gonna land on shore. We've got some stuff from Molokai for you. And so, Molokai residents have taken it upon themselves to say, screw FEMA, screw the state, screw everybody and all y'all. We've got boats, we can get some stuff over to the island on our own. This is called local mutual aid, and Maui residents and Molokai residents are stepping up for their island brothers on Maui. This is what is happening right now for the last couple days at Kahana at Lower Road at Hui Boat Camp. Constant flow of supplies coming in for Ohana on Molokai right now. Anyone that is close by and in need of toiletries, water, food, etc. This is located on Lower Road just before the bridge closure, and it's open until 11 p.m. at night with lights, so you cannot miss it, which is super flippin' awesome because word has been coming from the islands that it's very difficult to get from one side of Lahaina to the other. Roads are blocked. People are stuck and they're not allowed to come in. People with supplies on the road are actively being turned back, apparently. Apparently, this is what I've heard from social media feeds from locals on the ground, and they're getting very frustrated with that. But if you know how to get around the back door, and you're a Molokai resident with a boat, you're coming in and you're saving the day. And so I want to say thank you to all these Molokai residents who have taken it upon themselves to do their own mutual aid, bring the food and the water to the people. And let's see here. Puzzy Cat. Whoops, hold on. Let's do this first. Boop, back to my face so I can be angry when I need to. Yeah, whatever available should be used for the displaced. I totally agree. And the governor has asked Airbnb owners to open up their properties to displaced people because there's a shortage of rooms. I didn't know that the governor had asked that, but I do know on my social media that that was one of the first things that locals were doing. They're like, dude, book an Airbnb right now. Just boom, grab one because yeah. And then let's see here. Gina, I heard that a couple airlines offer a super low fare for displaced Maui residents. Is there a fund to help people get off Maui temporarily if they can't afford that? Gina, I have been asking that as well because I have heard that Hawaiian Airlines and Southwest both are offering $19 fares to get off of the island, plus $1 more for every pet that you're bringing. And frankly, not that I'm a rich woman, because I am not, but I could totally throw $20. I would happily throw $20 to Southwest, to Hawaiian Islands, whatever, just so one rando who doesn't have the money, or even if they do have the money, save the money for when you get to Oahu. Here's $20 for you and your dog to get on the plane. I don't know if anybody does know of ways to buy tickets for people, because the airline industry is so regulated and they like to know who's in every seat. I just don't know if that's possible. But do we know? Is there a fund for that? Because I've been asking around and I haven't found anything yet. Because seriously, for $20, I will help get somebody off the island. I will, and like I said, I don't even care if they have money or if they don't. If they do have money and they can afford to get off the island, that doesn't matter. Save your that $20 for your food and water when you get off the island, because you're gonna have to keep paying for everything basically once you get off the island. So if I don't know. I wish I did know. I love the idea, but I don't know. And yeah, Picola T, heading the airport, getting home. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out, and we will hopefully see you soon. And hopefully you'll get on the airport real quick like a bunny, and it'll be a real easy peasy flight. So I guess I've got a bunch of different assignments for all y'all today. First off, first assignment. If we can figure out how to pay airfare, then that'd be awesome. Let us know. That's the first assignment. Now, the second assignment for the day is to help me, help you, help everybody with this. Boop. Fire extinguishers. Dude, do you have one in your home? I'm not suggesting that a fire extinguisher in everybody's home would have stopped this wildfire. Don't get me wrong. That is not where I'm going with this at all. But it did make me think, hey, fire extinguishers, they're kind of a good thing to have around. And I don't know, do you have one in your car? Do you have one in your kitchen? Do you have one in your bedroom? Do you have one? Do you have one? Do you have more than one? Where do you have them if you have more than one? Do you have one by your barbecue? And all these other questions. And what kind do you have? Do you have the CO2 kind? Do you have the dry chemical kind? Do you have the water kind? The water kind are not good for electrical or grease fires. What do you got? I'm thinking I might need to get a sip of water pretty soon, but I'm also thinking fire extinguishers might be the go-to this Christmas. That's right, we're talking about Christmas. You know how sometimes it's hard to figure out what to get people for Christmas, especially that person who has everything? How about you get them a fire extinguisher? How about everybody gets a fire extinguisher? Okay, fine. Don't give your 6-year-old a fire extinguisher. That's no fun. Give them socks. You know the 6-year-olds would rather have socks. All right, that's not true either. But for all the other folk in your life, not the kids, a fire extinguisher. And let's see here. Shock, you already went and bought the dojo some fire extinguishers. Exactly. Take a look around one day soon before Christmas and, sort of figure out like, hey, wait, yeah, there is a significant lack of fire extinguishers in this area. And may I suggest purchasing fire extinguishers for your loved ones for Christmas? I know it's not fun, but it's also not something they're necessarily going to think to buy for themselves. And it's useful. One of my most beloved Christmas gifts ever was a pair of slippers. Like, I didn't know I wanted or needed slippers. And then someone gave me slippers. She gave everybody slippers that year. Everybody got slippers. And honestly, it was the best stupid gift I've ever had. And from that moment on, I've never not had a pair of slippers in my life. So, fire extinguishers can be the new slippers, right? Now, Shaq is coming in with the weather radios, and then the hand crank ones. Also, very good idea. If you know that person is heavy on extinguisher style, then perhaps the hand crank radio, or even just the battery radio. Radio, as usual, was one of the best forms of communication for the people on Maui. And so, Katie's Aura, Terry's Rating, Carl in Arkansas, welcome Raiders. Thank you so much for coming on in. Right now, we are talking about holiday gifts for the Christmas time area. I mean, you don't have to give them for Christmas, just that holiday time. Holiday gifts are going to be fire extinguishers this year. Fire extinguishers. That's my thought. And like I said before, I'm not suggesting that that fire extinguishers would have helped with the wildfire on Lahaina, but it just got me thinking about fire basically. And Carl in Arkansas, I am not rich enough to buy everyone generators. If you are rich enough to buy everyone generators, then by all means, that is the best gift ever. But fire extinguishers, those are something that are a little bit more within my budget. Now, I did look it up, and oh my god, you guys, fire extinguishers are not exactly cheap, which actually is another reason why you should maybe buy them for your people, because they might hesitate because they're not exactly cheap. And so let's see here. And yes, Shock, Bo of the Fifth Column, he is a YouTube content creator who has a bunch of videos about disaster prep. Bo of the Fifth Column is based in Florida, and so he is very well versed in disaster prep, disaster recovery, mutual aid during a disaster time, because Florida has been known, in case you don't know, Florida, on occasion, they get a hurricane. Oh. And so hurricanes sometimes tear houses down. So yeah, he's got plenty experience with disaster prep, recovery, rescue, precisely all those things involved in that. So if you are interested in a deep dive in how to be prepared for almost any kind of emergency, Bo of Fifth Column is for sure someone you want to check out. And so, first aid kits, all of these unfun things, right? And Andre, yes, fire extinguishers have to be maintained or they go bad. Right, so just because you have a fire extinguisher in your house, I'm looking at me, Mad Statter, doesn't mean that it's still going to work, because it's been here since you bought your house 20 years ago, and frankly, I haven't looked at the label or looked to see anything like that. And so perhaps, Mad Statter, you should buy yourself a fire extinguisher before you go telling everybody else to go buy fire extinguishers, but that's okay. I'm pointing at you, but I got 3 fingers pointed right back at myself. That's right. So, gonna do fire extinguishers. It's the year of the fire extinguisher is what I'm thinking. And so Yeah, Pussycat. Yeah, we've had a storm or two. And Linda Lou, good to see you. And oh my God, yes, something needed to my house. Merry Christmas, Linda. Hopefully ASAP. I thought it was a requirement for inspection to pass for insurance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it, but who cares? Who cares if it's a requirement? Who cares if it's, if you pass inspection or not? Who cares if your extinguisher still is valid and good and still works? It never hurts to have a second one. Pussycat, 4 years tops on the extinguisher. Well, as it turns out then, my extinguisher is just for looks, because I know that it's older than 4 years. And so, but what I am curious about, y'all, is, so you've got the CO2 extinguishers, which is, I guess it just blows carbon dioxide out or something. And then you've got the chemical ones. But then, Andre, you're totally reading my mind. I've seen on TV, on streaming, they have fire blankets for the kitchen fires. Now, honestly, to me, I'm most interested in the fire blanket because as someone who's had a fire in their house on more than one occasion, it's always started in the kitchen. Always started in the kitchen. Now, granted, all the fires that I've started in the kitchen, I've been able to contain and it did not spread. My sister, on the other hand, did not have that luck, and she almost burnt the kitchen down, but which was awesome because, I mean, it wasn't awesome, but it was in the sense that, like, I did a lot of bad stuff as a teenager, but I never burnt the house down, and so even though I was in trouble a lot more than she was for doing bad things, she did the biggest bad thing of all, which is she almost burnt the house down. And so yes, I do hold that against her. But we look back on it now and we laugh because it didn't turn into a big disaster. She did stop it in time before the house went up. But the point is, house fires oftentimes start in the kitchen, and house fires that have the, they don't always start in the kitchen, but they do start, when they do start in the kitchen, it is sort of a situation that is almost best case scenario in the sense that, like, chances are you're there, chances are you're watching it, chances are the fire is happening, and so you're at a good point to put it out before it spreads. And I'm very curious about the fire blankets. Has anyone ever had or used the fire blanket for any fire, really, but for kitchen fire in particular is what it's sold for. So, because honestly, I was thinking about getting one of those fire blankets because, like I said, of all the times I've caught a kitchen on fire, it's been on the stove. And yeah, when I say of all it has happened more than once. It has happened more than once. Fire happens, right? So very curious about the fire blankets. And right, exactly, Andre, in the kitchen you need to have the right kind of extinguisher. The last thing you want to do is put water on a grease fire. That's the last thing you want to do. And frankly, I'm not even sure, I guess, like, what the chemical extinguisher is kind of what you want in the kitchen. I don't actually know. Like, is the CO2 a better one for the kitchen? Is the dry chemical extinguisher better for the kitchen? And then as I was just searching for the picture of the fire extinguisher, I was doing just a smidge bit of research, and so it looks like there's the CO2, there's the dry chemical. Is there any other type of home-based fire extinguishers? Well, the Pro Kitchens have halon, that's cool, but we're not a Pro Kitchen. I'm talking about people, I'm talking about us. I'm not talking about people who are cooking in a different kitchen. I'm talking about your house kitchen, my house kitchen, their house kitchen, their house kitchen. And what is halon anyway? I don't even know what halon is. I do know, though, that salt can be very helpful when trying to extinguish a fire, as can baking soda. That being said, a lid on the pan that's on fire to just get rid of the oxygen is quite handy as well. It's been my most effective way of putting out fires in the kitchen. Yeah, you know, I'll tell you, sometimes grease needs to be cleaned up before it catches fire. We're not going to get into that. Okay, so halon is an inert gas that displaces oxygen just like CO2 does. Oh, so you could go suffocate yourself on accident with halon if you accidentally just like sucked all the oxygen out of the room. Okay, that could be a problem. Okay. Don't get the halon kinds, guys. I don't know if they're for sale, but they sound dangerous. Don't do that. Yeah. So, but either way, so it sounds like you guys don't, other than the halon kind, which sounds really kind of frightening, it sounds like you guys don't really know. So, I might have to go do a deep dive and come back in a couple streams from now, letting everybody know, hey, Wolfpack Gaming, how's it? And okay, shock, halon is usually a built-in system with piping, not a canister. They're automatically built in. Okay, well then then we can't get that kind of fire extinguisher. Wolfie Pack, we were talking about fire extinguishers and how important they are, and how I'm thinking that they're going to be the next gift that A, I give myself, because mine might be expired, and B, for the holiday gift-giving season, fire extinguishers. When you don't know what to get the person who already has everything, get him a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguishers are something that, quite honestly, everybody could use. If you have a car, does it have a fire extinguisher in it? Mine doesn't. It should. Do you have a kitchen? Mine has a fire extinguisher in it, but I think it's expired, so I should probably get a new one. Blah, 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 etc., etc. And so fire extinguishers. That is on the Christmas list idea thing situation. And Wolfie Pack or smoke detector fire extinguisher set. Oh, well, now you're getting fancy. That being said, I've got my 500 square foot house has 3 smoke detectors in it, so I don't really need a smoke detector. But apparently a lot of houses do not have smoke detectors. And so I absolutely agree that adding the smoke detector with the fire extinguisher, it would be a lovely, you know what? That'd be a really good housewarming gift, actually. Somebody who bought a new house, could get a little housewarming gift with the fire extinguisher. I mean, it's so not romantic, but sometimes practical gifts end up being the best gifts of all, right? Because you don't necessarily think to buy them yourself. House cooling gift. There you go. That's a good one, Andre. And yes, smoke detectors can go bad too. That's why if you use the kind with the batteries, you've been told this before. This is not new knowledge. I'm gonna just, tell you what you already know, which is every 6 months when we do that stupid spring forward, fall back, time changing thing, and I know it's not every 6 months anymore, but whatever. Just remember to change them out when the time changes. That's just exactly what Shock is just saying. And so that helps for sure. And if you're anything like me, you generally know if your fire extinguisher, if your smoke detector works. I would say about once a month, I test mine. I mean, not on purpose or anything, but like something in the kitchen will decide that it's time to test the smoke detector. And yeah, mine works. Mine works really, really well. Exactly, Wolfie Pack Gaming. It's like, you know, you can always test your smoke detector by leaving the bacon on the grill for just a little too long. And suddenly, yeah, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Yeah, that is exactly what happens. I'm fairly certain in my home, my smoke detectors are still working. At least they were last week. So, let's see here. Oh, shock, you have a parrot that sounds like a smoke detector battery chirp. That has got to be a little bit annoying, actually. That smoke detector chirp is enough to drive me insane. Whoever chose that frequency, that pitch, that just sharp derp, derp, knows how to just drill into your brain. That was an expertly chosen tone. Yes, excruciating is the word I'm looking for. Precisely. And, Linda Lou, your house has carbon dioxide detectors, but no gas connections. One thing you would never admit to is, the smoke detector working. Yeah, actually, I've got CO2 monitors too, and I have no gas connections. I don't know why they decided I needed a CO2 monitor. The city came in and did a bunch of work on my house a couple years ago, and they're like, CO2 monitors for everyone. So, okay. Or maybe it's a carbon monoxide detector. I don't know. It's got something. I got something. But thank you so much, Andre, for gifting the gift to Daughter 2. And let's see here. Pussycat, you used to call it the dinner bell when your wife was cooking dinner. See, exactly. Everybody knows if their smoke detector works. If they do cooking at home, everybody knows if their smoke detector works. At some point, they test it, even if they didn't mean to test it. And okay, Chuck, thank you. I thought it was carbon monoxide. Yeah, I don't know if I've got radon. I don't know if it's radon and carbon monoxide or just the carbon monoxide, but I know that they put it, I'm looking at it right now. They put it in my house and it flashes green every once in a while. And so, I tell my people who are staying overnight in the living room, like, if in the middle of the night you start seeing a green flashing light, you're not having a stroke. It's just my carbon monoxide detector. And Chuck, I don't have a basement, but I do have a crawl space under my house. So I don't know if that counts as a thing. And Terry, you have a methane detector. That thing goes off all the time. Terry, are you farting into your methane detector? Is your methane detector too close to your arse, Terry? Is that what it is? Is that because you're eating too many beans on your toast, Terry? I feel like that methane detector, you might be putting it, you might break your methane detector. You're using it so often. And let's see here. See, Honda, certain houses have the beep going off regularly. Dude, I don't know how people live with that. I know people they just tune it out. It does not, is how I feel about that. I don't understand how people can live with that. It just, no. Did I mention no? Oh no, Shock, you actually do have a device that detects methane and screeches whoop whoop, fart detected, whoop whoop. That's funny. You're gonna have to send that to Terry. There we go. All right, cool. So, okay, so we only know a little bit about fire extinguishers. We might have to learn a little bit more. But that's all right, because now we're going to talk about something different. What we're going to talk about is an amazing video that I'm going to share without permission, even though she's here on the stream right now. That's right. we've got an amazing videographer in the works here. I don't know if you know of this wonderfully talented lady. Her name is C. Honda, and she created what I consider the quintessential, most perfect video for a tribute to Lahaina town. The first time I watched it, I ended up with the first time I watched it, by the time the second song came in, I was sobbing. I mean, racked with tears. Like, my front door was open, and I'm sure my neighbors thought, I don't know what my neighbors thought, but I was just losing it. Second time I watched it, I managed to keep cool. Fine. This will be the third time I'm gonna watch it. I don't know if there's gonna be onions. I don't know if it's gonna be dusty in the air, but C. Honda created a video on YouTube. If you're not following C. Honda on YouTube, I suggest you do, because she's got some amazing Hawaii videos, a lot of the islands. And this one she made just the other day, and I want to share it all with you because it's pretty awesome. And the videos and pictures, I'm assuming, were all done by C. Honda, and the music, of course, provided by Lono of Molokai. So, here we go. Let's go for some Lahaina love.
No matter where you go, no matter what you do, take that Maui style with you. Cause if you ain't Maui styling, you just living on an island. Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 There is sunshine in your heart. It's been with you from the start. Lift your head, look to the heavens, then you will feel brand new again. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Reach out your hand and help each other. Your mother, your father, your sister and brother. There is love in this family. Pick yourself up and get on your feet. Don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Pohokela styling, Nakaibalu styling, Hawaiian styling, Kihei styling, Malamaula styling, Lahaina styling, Laiula styling, Napili styling. Don't stop me now, Maui styling. We will all reach the finish line. The six of us, no one left behind. We're all winners, no matter what. When there is love in your Maui heart, don't stop me now, Maui styling, don't let me down. 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 Makena styling, upcountry styling, Kampo styling, Kahanapali styling, Hana styling, Waihehu styling, Bahia styling, Keanai styling. Maui styling, don't let me down. Maui styling,
have it. So, that video was brought to us by our very own C Honda. As I mentioned, C Honda's got their own YouTube channel with lots of Hawaii-oriented videos. This, I believe, might be, excuse me, might be the latest video. I know it's at least one of the latest videos. And C Honda, thank you so much for that permission. I had a feeling that this video at least was acceptable to share on the this stream. I don't mean to be all judgmental and stuff, but I find that that video for me was perfection. I had to share it. I mean, just utter perfection. So, in fact, C Honda, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in the middle of a video project right now, and I saw that video, your video, the video I just played, and I walked away from my video editing. I was like, there's no point. I can't compete with that. Now, granted, the topic of my video had nothing to do with the topic of your video, but just your fades, your overlays, your everything. You're so beyond my abilities as a video editor at this point. I'm impressed. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I'm like, whatever. I'm all verklempt because that video was so powerful to me. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it was such a powerful video. I cannot thank you enough for putting it together, ultimately. And so, Katie's Aura, go moi moi, sleepy time. Thank you so much for coming in on that raid with Terry. I'm super stoked that we were able to share some time together, and I'm very stoked that you were able to see that video that C Honda made, because quite honestly, I would like everybody to see that video that C Honda made. Gil, right? Didn't it give you chicken skin? The first time I saw that video, and then the second song, Hawaii Aloha, came on, I was racked. I was like, it sounded like someone was tearing my heart from my chest. I was crying so hard. Like I said, my neighbors were probably wondering what kind of fit I was having, because I was sobbing so loudly. I mean, yeah. Oh my. And so, Michi Mama, what is C Honda's channel? I think, yeah, excellent. So it looks like Shock and Stream Elements have gotten that taken care of. So yeah, eMusic, if you want to, subscribe to C Honda, definitely, you really should. I mean, that video was phenomenal. But a lot of her other videos are pretty amazing as well, because what I like about C Honda's videos is they're Maui videos, they're Kauai videos, they're videos that we don't necessarily see with Andy or with me, which are very Oahu oriented, and so it gives the other islands time to shine. She's able to highlight them, which is super great, and so I definitely am stoked to help celebrate C Honda's work, because C Honda is a perfect example of what, she's the perfect example of, if it's not perfect, that's okay, still put it out, and then with every video that she's done, she's gotten a smidge better until she ends up with what we just witnessed, which was perfection. I mean, perfection. And so that is what Chatter with Statter loves to support, is put it out before it's perfect, because perfect is going to stand in the way of getting stuff done. You show your progress. You're getting better, and then pretty soon you will stumble upon perfection. And C Honda, you flippin' stumbled upon perfection with that one, in my opinion. Now, this next video that we're going to watch is made by me. It's not nearly as perfect as C Honda's video. In fact, it's not perfect at all. So there's like a lot that could have been done, but this video is a bunch of outtakes. There you go. It's perfectly imperfect. There we go. Yeah, well, you'll see. But this next video, this is a video of outtakes. As I've been babbling about for weeks now, I'm trying to put together a lot of the footage that I took and footage that I've gathered from others for the Muckleshoot 2023 paddle to Alki and the arrival of all the tribes in their canoes. However, there's actually some outtakes that I'm not using, and so this little 2+ minute video, 3-minute video, is some of the outtakes of me approaching the event. Let's see if I can find it first. Let's see here. Yes, me approaching the event from the north side of the beach, from the north side of the event, coming south to where the gathering was. And so erase the good video that we just watched from your mind, and now come look at a less than good video that we're gonna watch. But this is me on Alki Beach, July 31st, maybe July 30th. Gosh, you know, I don't really remember. Approaching the, it was at the beginning of the ceremony when just a few paddlers, a few tribes, a few families had actually reached the beach. This was basically at the beginning of the ceremony, me walking down and seeing just what's going on.
O no ke ano biute kua ka ua tuahine O no ke ano biute kua ka ua tuahine Ila ho ia i ke ka ui o ka pua miulana Ila ho ia i ke ka ui o ka pua miulana Ka ano i ka Akena ia I halai No puna ke ala na ke ala ne tupomi Haina mai ka puana aku uipo ka ua tuahine Let's go, still break
All right, there we go. So, as you can see, definitely less stylized than what Sea Honda had to offer, but this was just a bunch of little outtakes. And for those of you who are wondering, so like, why did that one tribe go to the shore like further up and then was just standing there with a canoe in the shore waiting. Well, I can tell you why. Well, the reason why is because according to the protocol rules of approaching the shore, there were several. Okay, so the canoes came in a multitude of varieties. They came as singular canoes, but some tribes had a multitude of canoes. So as one tribe, that you want to approach the shore with all of your canoes as one unit. And so that particular canoe that was waiting on the shore was waiting for the rest of their unit to come so they could then join together and raft up together before they approached the final area where they would then ask permission to come to shore. Now, the waters were very calm that day. The weather couldn't have been more perfect for that arrival. And so a lot of the tribes were not following those instructions, and they were actually waiting further out on the water for the rest of their group to catch up with them. But in rougher seas, that would have been extraordinarily dangerous, which is why the instructions were to come to shore. Now, most of the tribes that I was watching didn't adhere to that instruction. Only that one canoe adhered, actually followed the instructions they were given. When the rest of their family came up, caught up with them, they left the shore, rafted up with them, and then approached the actual event as one unit. But in theory, all of the tribes, all of the canoes that were waiting further out in the water for the rest of their family to come out, they were breaking the rules, y'all. And I can't remember where I ended up getting a pamphlet of the protocol rules for approaching, and it was in there that I read it. I can't remember what tribe posted it on Facebook. That's the only reason why I know, but I actually did read, as part of the instructions, they were supposed to come to shore away from the event, get everybody together, and then go down to the event as one. I only saw that one boat do that. And I'll tell you what, you guys, even though the water was glassy, the waves were small, that boat was big and heavy. And that one guy standing knee deep in water trying to hold it in place, he was working hard. It might not have looked like it was that hard, but you could tell he was working hard. And so let's see here. E-music, very nice. The blue water looks so refreshing. You don't know how refreshing that water is, my friend. We're talking like 57 degrees at the warmest. Yeah, it is refreshing. It was a very warm day though, and I actually did see people. You don't very often see people swimming on Alki Beach, but when it gets hot enough, people do jump in. And there was actually quite a few people swimming at Alki that day. It was nice and warm. And let's see here. Andre's asking, am I going to video when it comes to Seattle Medstatter, or am I going to be out of town and have to see them in Tacoma? Exactly. Andre, the Hokulea is coming to Seattle exactly at the wrong time for me. I will be in California when it hits Seattle. Now, it's going to be in Seattle for a couple days, and then it's going to go down to Tacoma, and Tacoma is where they're actually going to let people on the boat to do tours. My best guess is, if I'm going to be doing any kind of videoing of the boat, it'll be down in Tacoma. That being said, I will be in Seattle the same time I will be back home when Hokulea is at Pier 62 in Seattle. So I might get to see it, but I will not be able to get to see it arriving. I probably will have the opportunity to see it, leaving down to Tacoma. But unfortunately, I'm going to be in California when it hits Seattle, and I was really annoyed when I found that out. But not annoyed enough to change my plans to California. And shock, yeah, being swamped on a kayak in it was scary and cold. Precisely. And some of those canoes were pretty low to the water because they were a little bit over, it wasn't it was a deep water crossing, but it wasn't an open ocean crossing, thank goodness. And thank goodness the waters were calm, because some of those canoes were pretty low in the ground. No, they weren't low in the ground. Pretty low in the water. So yeah, it would have been, under other water circumstances, heading to shore to wait for your people was obviously the safety protocol that needed to happen. But, people make their own choices, as it were. They decide what is safe enough for them to handle and what is not, and there you go. And yeah, see what a roving reporter, Mad Statter. Oh, well, hey, this Chatterbox crew has nothing but roving reporters. We've got C. Honda as a roving reporter. We've got Pacolati as a roving reporter. We certainly have Shakalolo as a roving reporter. Turns out I might be a roving reporter as well. And I have no doubt in my mind that I'm missing other people who are roving reporters. And I feel bad because I know that Rick and Darlene are also roving reporters. We've got lots of roving reporters here on Chatterbox. Chatter with Statter. And, Andre, it was hot, and when I was at Alki, all you saw were people on kayaks and scuba gear. Yep, that is very consistent, especially with where you were probably at on Alki. There's a scuba park right by the water taxi dock, and there's a kayak rental place on the other side of the water taxi dock. So you are absolutely going to see both kayakers and scuba divers at the water taxi dock. And if you don't see kayakers and scuba divers at the water taxi dock, then my best guess is you're not at the water taxi dock. And so let's see here. Next Sunday, Andy will be doing a radio interview on the Kanakapila show, and it's from 10 a.m. to noon California time at kvmr.org. Excelente. Yeah, he'll probably be pimping out the San Francisco show and the Sacramento show. And so, Andre, you were at the dock and you also saw a bunny on the beach. I've never seen a bunny on the beach. I've seen raccoons on the beach. I've seen river otters on the beach. I've had river otters chase me off of the beach. River otters are scary, by the way. Did you know that? I've never seen a bunny on the beach, though. We've got a lot of bunnies these days in the Puget Sound area. I don't know if it's because of a lack of, coyotes or just a bunny population explosion in general. But we've got a lot of bunnies these days, but I've never seen one on the beach. And Andy Bumatai coming in with a question about the Andy Bumatai interview. Will it be live? And apparently, yes, it will be live. So the man doing the interview doesn't even know if it will be a live interview. Phenomenal. Okay, you guys, we have got about 10 minutes left, and we haven't taken our Lono listening break. So we're going to go watch that Paradise loop that Rick has created for us. And we're going to listen to, I don't know, something by Lono off of the newest album, When Ancestors Speak, Iwi Molokai Iwi Band. I don't remember what song I chose, so I'm not going to tell you. Let's find out, shall we? It's time for Lono.
ke kua ma'anei I ke ia ka hana paku I ke pohaku Pau ke kohola pau I ka lua ana Pakahuelo ke aho Pukia ke one mo Ki ke aho Ohibi ha'auhi ke kino I luna lapa ahi I luna heu ahi Au he awale oe ka poe a pau E ola mau o le loko la Mana mau ka ina me o ke kai Poe poe ino anu Poe poe ino anu Lele aluna ka uhane No ka ohana I ke kai Lui kulia na o kanaka o ina ili Nana me ko maka ano Haina ia mai ka puana E mo ole loko la ue ue Ka lua ana maane ue ue I luna lapa ahi I luna heu ahi Au he awale oe ka poe a pau E ola mamo o le loko la Malama o ka aina me o ke kai Poe poe ino anu Poe poe ino anu Mai ka moana I hopu no Au ke kua ma'anei I ke ia ka hana paku I ke pohaku Pau ke kohola pau I ka lua ana Pakahuelo ke aho Uki ia ke one mo Ki ke aho Ohibi ha'auhi ke kino I luna lapa ahi I luna heu ahi
All right, so that was our Lono Listening break. And during our Lono Listening break, we were talking about random censorship that Restream, Twitch, and YouTube seem to have hopped on the bandwagon for. So, let's see here. Look up Silly Bunt. The rest of you don't do that. Okay, so bunt cake apparently sometimes is if you don't spell bunt right, I guess it turns into a censored word for some reason. I'm assuming it has something to do with see you next Tuesday, but maybe not. And then classroom, the little ASS gets all blurred out in the word classroom. I just don't, that's just silly. That's just silly, you guys. And, let's see here. E-music. Okay, e-music coming in with why the KVRM was censored, because she didn't she did put the dot, and the hot links aren't allowed, and so the computer decided to just asterisk everything. Because gotta be safe. Because the best way to be safe is to show off your asterisk. Anyway, Pussycat waking up at the end of I fell asleep listening to Lono. What's going on? Is that what's going on, Pussycat? You're waking up after a little quick snooze? There we go. And let's see here. And shock, there are some machines at NASA that are so safe, nobody can use them. Wool, that kind of reminds me of where I hide my stuff. I hide all of my stuff in a really safe spot. So safe that I don't know where I hid them. So safe from me including. There we go. Mad Saturday, do I remember that spot? Yeah, it's a safe spot. It's very safe. It's a very safe spot. If terrorists came and put a gun to my head and said, "You must tell me the safe spot," I would stand my ground and say I cannot. Yeah. It's safe. It's very safe. And Verity, thank you so much. Yes, I did my hairs. I got my hairs did, or rather I did my hairs earlier this week. So now I'm boom, bright and pink. And let's see here. And Michi Mama is exactly 100% right. And there's always a good reason for why that item is going in that spot. You just can't ever think of that reason. That is so 1000% true. Exactly. And see, Honda, it's under the green paint cans. Okay, you look there. Honestly, the first place I always look is the freezer. I never find it there, whatever it is, but I always look in the freezer just in case. Pussycat, it is 9:30 in your neck of the woods, and you've been up since around 5 a.m. I think you need to go to sleep, my friend. You need to go to sleep. Okay, but it's not really 9:30. It's actually 9:28, which means we have 2 minutes left before we wrap it all up. So, we're going to wrap things up in this final 2 minutes. What we're going to say is, chances are there won't be a Daily Pigeon Live this Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but there might be, but there might not be. Stay tuned for those details. There will be a Chatter with Scatter. No, a Chatter with Statter on Wednesday, but there will not be a Statterbox of the Cinema on Saturday. There will be a Chatter with Statter. Yeah, that's my name. Chatter with Statter on Sunday. The next week, we will also be here on Wednesday. But then, that next weekend's whatever weekend Nothing. No nothing for nobodies. All right, there we go. So, Gina, exactly. It is chatter with scatter. That is not altogether inappropriate at all. So that is where it goes. Andre, you're going back to work on Wednesday, so you're not going to see us, but then you will see us in Renton. That's good. That's good. And Puzzycat, why no Saturday? Because Saturday, August 19th, is when James Mane, Augie T, and Andy Bumatai are going to be coming up to Renton, Washington for their show. And I'm going to be at that show. I might even be introducing them at that show. Word on the street is that's who's going to be introducing them. So, no Statterbox at the cinema for 2 Saturdays in a row coming. But then, when we come back, we're probably going to watch a man named Otto. So there we go. Is there a Target in Renton? I don't know if there's a Target in Renton, but I do know there's a Walmart in Renton. And I do know that I'm pretty sure there's a Target, but I don't know for certain. But I know where I can find a Target. And let's see here. Yep, I wouldn't, no, Verity, not opening. I'm just introing. I am just introing. But Andre, there's a Target in White Center. No, there's not. There's a Target in Westwood Village, which is technically speaking still in Seattle. However, given the proximity to the Target and the White Center, I can appreciate why you would assume that that was still White Center, but it is not. You have to know where the roads end the boundaries and begin the begins, because let me tell you, those folks in White Center, no, let me tell you, wrong way. Those folks in West Seattle, they don't like being confused with folks from White Center. 2 different classes of people. And nope, the sign was not in White Center. The sign is probably a half a block away from White Center, but actually I know the sign you're talking about, and it's not. And Chuck, where are the Mooners? I don't know what you mean by that. So we're gonna maybe have to, yes, the high Makamaka would be West Seattle. The low Brada would be White Center. And you know what? White Center prefers it that way. In fact, White Center would prefer West Seattle, keep it out of there. But that's just how that works. All right, then. We are 2 minutes past, which really shouldn't surprise anybody, because when it comes to chattering, I don't know how to stop. Anyway, okay. We're going to see each other on Wednesday for certain. 4 p.m. Wednesday, West Coast time. 4 p.m. West Coast time. Why am I yelling that? Because I don't ever remember. It's my fault. 4 p.m. West Coast time. Wednesday. We'll see each other there. Thank you so much for hanging out today. Thank you for the subbing, the guest subbing, the gift subbing, etc., etc. But mostly, thank you all for the chatter. All right then. Exit stage left. Boop. Take care, y'all.